Hey, fellow farmers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Medieval Dynasty. Episode 3, Breaking Ground for a Fresh Flax Field. There is customizations of buildings later on. Actually, I already customized this house, as you saw. I chose where I wanted the doors, windows, and walls. And then there is decorations, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But the TLDR for decorations is that your villagers are happy when you decorate their homes, up to a point. So it's going to be worth my time to decorate my houses. Oh, what the? That bird just like zipped by me. So yes, there is absolutely an advantage to decorating homes, except for your player's home. Like, you don't have a mood. So like me decorating my own home isn't going to make me happy. But if I wanted to, I could. So like we've got shelves, candlesticks, you know, things like that to put on the walls. We've got trophies, hanging racks, art, banners. There's lots of decoration options, and that will help to appease your villagers, because I would like to, if possible, have as happy villagers as I can have. I want my people overjoyed to be part of my village, and there's a few different reasons for this. One is that every building that you have results in taxes, right? So having a bunch of miserable villagers that work really slow means that you have a lot of buildings to house them in, and because if they're miserable, it also means that they're going to work slowly. So it's actually in your disadvantage to like have miserable villagers, because they aren't going to be as nearly as productive. But if I did get a wife that shared my, like, home, then there'd be a point to decorating. But, however, this home is, like, the smallest possible home. And therefore, it can only make them a certain amount happy. But it would still be pretty easy to make them happy, regardless. Alright, at this point, we just need sticks and logs. Straightforward. For now, I'll collect the sticks. So, stones like this will automatically get displaced when you build. They don't block buildings. Same with small things like sticks. The only things that really block you building-wise is when you are... you've got trees or stumps in the way. Or impassable stone, like the cliffs over here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to, like, just build on the cliffs. As you can see, this thing is going up pretty quick. Because it's not made of stone, it's actually pretty fast to build compared to my own home. As I said, once you start mining, the amount of stone that you get pretty early on and pretty reasonably is so much so that you just like leave it on the ground, which is why stone homes are not that much of a burden. Because when you're trying to mine copper and tin, you end up with a lot of byproduct stone. So you end up with inventories full of stone, and you're just like, man, I don't know what to do with all the stone. But early game, the demand for stone, you know, can be a bit cumbersome. Pun unintended. And yeah, the happy people are more productive. So, let me spend a moment just to talk about the ruler. So the Castellan is the leader of, like, Piastovia. Each town has his own Castellan, but they report to the king. You never actually meet the king, but there's different types of kings. There's neutral kings, benevolent kings, and evil kings. And we have Philip the First, the Merciful. So I got lucky. We have a good king. And what that means is, occasionally what you can do is you could do missions for the king, and those types of missions are going to be a lot harder to accomplish, generally speaking, than the small, like, notice board type missions. So it might be like, supply a bunch of weapons, or supply a bunch of fertilizer, or supply a bunch of tools, or something like that. And when you do missions for the king, you will gain benefits. So no matter what missions you do for the king will reduce your tax rate. So here I have a neutral tax rate and a neutral mood rate. If the king is evil and you do deeds for him, it will upset your villagers. You will lower your taxes, but your villagers will be upset that you're supporting an evil king. Neutral is nothing, and if it's a good king, like a merciful king, your villager will actually be happier when you fulfill quests for the king. So having a good king is a really nice start. Now, with that said, the king could die any moment, right? They could be overthrown, they could be murdered, they could die of old age, they could die of illness, and they could be replaced by an evil king. But that's how the kingship works. You never actually meet the king, you're just doing favors for the king. And then additionally, once you have a lot of rep with the king, you will gain more privileges, like to be able to name your own village, for instance. So working with the king is important, and hopefully you get a good one. Because if you get a crappy one, if you get an evil one, you will have to offset the mood deduction that your villagers receive by doing something else for your villagers, like having higher quality food or better insulation or something. Otherwise, you make your villagers sad that you are supporting an unjust king. Okay, most of what we need left is thatch-based, or logs, so let's cut down a few trees and get this built. Before I go any further, actually, I am thirsty as hell, so chicory, daisies for food and water reduction needs, and let's take a sip at the river. Oh, I failed to drink. Good job, me. Dear Lord. I'm waiting for my food to drop even further before I eat yet another oat roll. The trees fall like away from you, so you can decide if you want to like crush your own homes. It won't actually do any damage, but it's kind of funny. Ooh, and look at that! I have extraction level 1, which happens pretty early on, just due to you are cutting down tons and tons of trees type deal. So, extraction skills. We have more experience gained from extraction, extra chance when digging clay pits, or durability loss of axes. I'm going to go with more experience, because honestly, I just don't see a reason not to do that. Normally I would poll you guys about it, but it's such a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, of like, yeah, experience is kind of everything, right? That if I get a chance to get more of it, I'm absolutely going to take that. Cheers. Oh, I'm finally dirty. So being dirty in itself is not like a problem, but if you're filthy, like people might not want to talk to you. So one of the advantages of living near a river is I can wash myself off more easily in the river. Otherwise I would need to make a wash basin, which is, I forget where it is. It's one of these things you can be. Oh yeah, here it is, washed up, made of planks. I don't really have planks right now, so it's really nice that I live on a river, so I can clean up a bit. It's particularly important when you're trying to court the ladies. If you stanky, they ain't even gonna talk to you. And we are nearly done with the building the resource storage. I mean, it's reading as 70% complete. Meaning, what do you want me to do after this? Improving the village. So what I would do after this for village improvement, maybe would be to start a flax field. That's what I would do next. If you vote on that. If you want me to improve my gear or something else, you know, I'll pivot. This bad boy is almost done. What is let me just drop the stone and the sticks. I'll pick them up later and stick them into the resource storage. So, talking about farms, because I know I just said if you vote on for me to improve the village, I would do flax field. Different crops have different seasons that they can be sown. Many crops require multiple seasons to grow. So there's a sowing season, potentially one or more growing seasons, and then a harvest season. And flax is a vitally important resource for you to grow, because flax is like all of your clothing, for instance. I mean, it's just, without flax, you're kind of screwed. So starting a flax farm in the first spring can be pretty useful, because you'll be able to start clothing yourself. There is winter clothing, which is made of like furs and hides. But the other thing is, when you are trying to earn money in the game, it's really useful to have like cash crops. So for instance, if you want to have animals, it's going to be much cheaper for you to grow the food to make animal feed, rather than to rely upon buying food for animal feed. And let's go ahead and level up survival knowledge twice, because I got 2 skill points this level. So now I have maximum survival knowledge, and I unlock tier 2, which allows me to get more health, or seeing sticks, stones, mushrooms, feathers, and herbs in inspector mode. Both are incredibly useful. So my point is, because flax allows you to make clothing, you can grow a lot of flax, you'll be taxed for your flax fields, but then you can take all that flax that you grew and make clothing out of it to sell it for way more than what you paid in taxes. So when you are trying to pay the local lord in taxes, you should consider what you want your village to produce. And it's also worth noting that depending on what you produce, if you are producing food, you will level up in survival technology. If you're producing farm or animal crop stuff, you'll level up, survival, then farming. And if you're producing crafted goods, you'll level up in production. So depending on what you produce, you can also help to unlock new things. So for instance, if we had a lot of farm fields, I would quickly level up my my farming technology. And one of the nice benefits of that is we would get like a donkey shelter. So then I could ride a donkey and store my stuff on a donkey. And we would be moving a lot faster, and we would be we would have a lot more carry weight, as a for instance. But I'm only going to be able to do that if I have enough invested time and points invested in like doing farming type stuff. And instead of having to do that all by myself, it makes a lot more sense to have villagers do it for me, or at least aid me in doing it. I also just leveled up my technology so I can build a woodshed, which allows me to hire a lumberjack. So the resource storage is totally done. And here is the storage box. And in the storage box, I'll be putting just about everything. And everything that I put in this storage box, straw, sticks, logs, etc., I can then use to build. So as you can see here, I don't have any logs in my inventory. Or better yet, let me put all my sticks away and demonstrate it this way. I have no sticks or stones in my inventory, but if I go to handcrafting, as you can see, I have access to the logs and sticks because I'm within range of my resource storage. And you can actually see an icon right there next to my hammer. That building there is my resource storage building. So if I wandered far enough away from this structure, I would lose access to my resource storage. All right, you guys want me to improve the village. So what I would like to do is start farming flax. Now, one constraint of farming in this game is your farms have to be on a predetermined grid. So if I open up my field here, you can see I cannot rotate this. This is a predetermined north-south grid, and I can't change this at all. It's not to say that I want my farm there exactly, But I think what I'm going to do is lay out the farm fields. So here's what I want to do. Let me back up a bit. I would like to create a river road running along the river so that I don't disrupt the riverbank, but I have the beauty of the river included in my village. And I can pick up this road or destroy this road in the future. But basically, this is a little road along the river so that the villagers can walk on it, move about it, and it adds some aesthetics, right? So then, now that we have this little river road, I'll put down a field. And I'm going to need to cut some trees, probably, to put down the field exactly how I want it. Or otherwise, I could put the field a little bit further in. Around the resource building, I'm going to want my crafting buildings. My smithy, my sewing hut, that kind of thing. So the fields, I'm going to intentionally keep a little bit separate. And further out. So, let's see. And I think 7x7 for just shy of 50 tiles is going to be the size I'm going for. Fields are arranged in tiles. Every single one can hold up to one different type of plant type. Fields require several agricultural treatments like grubbing, fertilizing, plowing, sowing, gathering vegetables, and harvesting grains. So the first thing I need to do is to grab my hoe, which is on my 7, and clear the land. Doing this, if you're wondering, is going to level up both my farming skill. I have 7 points, skill points out of 100 so far, and also my farming technology. I have 1 point of farming technology so far. So farming is going to be important for me to level up a lot of things, like getting food storage or getting animal husbandry. And I am about halfway through spring, so if I want to grow flax, it's going to be important for me to get the crops in the ground before end of season. Because I won't be able to plant flax if, if it's summer. Everyone chose this place? Oh, no kidding. I haven't watched anyone else's content, so that is news to me. It's actually not where I play tested. And there we go, I just unlocked food storage by doing a little bit of farming. And I mentioned before, but food storage is access for your entire village, access for food and water. So without food storage, it's like nearly impossible to actually keep everyone's food and water demands met, because you would have to hand deliver food and water to everyone's individual house. And that's a lot of undue or unnecessary labor. So trying to get food storage early on is going to be really handy. And then putting food storage near where we at least have a hunting, fishing, and kitchen is going to be important so that we can put food away quickly after processing it. So there we go. We have got the entire field grubbed up, and now we need fertilizer. I need at least 49 pieces of fertilizer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop off everything I don't immediately need on me in here. Hoe, shovel, hammer, axe, unripe berries, everything that like has a weight. Broadleaf plantains help you heal, so I'm going to keep those. And then I'm going to grab things that are worth selling. Let's see. Potion of sobriety, potion of stamina, potion of temperature. They're not worth a lot, but they're worth something. Wicker crates. I'm going to grab one of the coverlets. I'm going to keep one for later. And I think that will be good. And I'm planning on heading back into town and buying fertilizer. Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't believe I fully looted this place. So now that I'm heading back into town, grabbing anything worth selling from here because I left this all here due to lack of carry weight before, but now I'm heading to sell, so I might as well collect it all. And any other ruins or whatever that we end up finding. In fact, with that said, maybe I go to a new village. Rather than doubling back where I've already been, I'll go somewhere new and perhaps happen upon more ruins to loot on my way there. Now, I do have to be careful. I'm on foot. I do have to be careful of predators on my trip over here. Or bandits. It could be bandits. These deer are brave. Oh, hello. You don't look like a bandit to me. You're some sort of merchant.
How do you do?
Show me your
Whatever
wares.
you need, I've got it.
Well, you don't have fertilizer or flax seed, so not true. But I can sell you my wine. Coverlet. Potions. And wicker crate. So now almost everything that I had to sell has already been sold. Pretty sweet. And I have about 1,000 coins.
Have a good day.
So this guy is here. It's like seasonal. It's like random people that you find out here. Some of them are going to be quest givers. Generally speaking, if you have quest givers and the main filter, you'll actually see where they are. So Skauki has someone that has a quest. Astoya has someone that has a quest. So on and so forth. They're pretty easy to spot because the game will let you know about it. In fact, your own villagers will be like, hey, you should go to X, Y, or Z place because someone needs your help there. They'll actually inform you where there is quests to pick up, which is kind of nice. So I believe that is a wolf there. So if I go to the wild animals tab, I think there was wolves in this location, so I should probably avoid that. And wolves at my level and my equipment would be pretty tricky for me to deal with. Technically speaking, when you die, the way this game is supposed to work, and I will say I do intend to save scum if I do die, but the way it's intended to work is like, you get a wife, you get a kid, and then if you die, you like take over from your dynasty. So like your kid would take over, for instance, because you know, your character is leveling up, aging up, and the whole concept is like to pass the torch to the next generation. But I don't want to end my run, so I'm just going to revert my saves if I do end up croaking. So here's the Wagoneer that can take you to other cities. At the moment, because of how poor I am, the cost for that would be a little steep. And then within town, we can see on the top of my map, there is a weaving trader here. And if I hold left alt, which is the inspector mode, I can actually physically see them. So they sell weaving goods and then they sell farming goods. So let's go talk with Zawiya. And she's got fertilizer, which we need, and flaxseed, which we need. So let's buy 49 fertilizer is going to encumber me. So what I'll do is I might do this in batches of like 30. Buy 30 fertilizer and 30 flaxseed. And then as much fertilizer as I can carry until I'm encumbered, which is 15 more. So maybe I'll do 15 more flaxseed. So I'm going to have to make 2 trips. Actually, you know what? Let me just encumber myself a little bit. I'll move a little bit slower, but I could do it all in one run. So 49 fertilizer, 49 flaxseed. And I'm only 2 pounds encumbered, so I won't be too much slower. It should be okay. Is there anything I can sell to lower my weight? Not really, but that's fine.
Goods in the take care.
Sweet. I'm not going to bother picking up any of the quests from this location. because I am... Oh, and I didn't... Yeah, I am headed back here. Actually, this is my farm field. There, to sow my flax. I already sold everything I had to sell to that wandering merchant on the road. But because I have the oat roll, stamina bonus, and the like, I'm not that slow. Or encumbered. Should be fine. Don't bite me, Mr. Fox. So if you go to your management tab and go to fields, you can rename your fields. So this field that I have, it is currently spring, and I can change plant type. So in the plant types, you can see that spring is when you would sow spring wheat, oats, flax, beetroot, onions, cabbage, carrots, and poppy. So if I select flax, I can then drag flax along all 49 tiles. I could split the field if I wanted to, but I don't like splitting fields, just a personal choice. And then I've designated this field to be sown with flax in the spring. It grows, or actually in the summer it's harvested. So flax is a single season crop, as you can see, sow, harvest. Some other crops is sow, grow, harvest. The thing is, I could potentially sow rye into the flax field, or cabbage into the flax field in summer or autumn. The trouble with that is, for every field, if I did, like, let's say, cabbage, the farmer would have to harvest the flax and then sow the flax in that order, and there might not be enough time to get it done. So I kind of like to have one field, one crop, to make it a little bit easier, so that I don't, like, mess up a growth cycle. And the game is just telling me that I have no building shed, so they can't, like, automatically manage the flax field, which is fine. I knew I didn't have a building shed. Oh! Yep, those are the wolves. Let's back away. So here, we have wolves there. I spotted them before, but I definitely don't want to be wandering in a wolf den right now. They would maul me to death very quickly. They're so friend-shaped? Yeah, but I'm so prey-shaped. So being prey-shaped takes precedent over them being friend-shaped. I must say, when I look at, like, a grizzly bear's ears, they look very pettable. But when I look at their paws, they look very maulable. So, hey, there's, like, more limestone up here. And a sack with plum wine, which is, like, really expensive. And salted meat. Cool. The limestone is insulation. Oh, goodness. Another bronze pickaxe? Hell yeah. Limestone is an insulation material that you can add to a stone house to further insulate it. And eventually I'm going to want, like, all my houses to be insulated with limestone, but acquiring bulk limestone is really labor intensive and very slow. So it's not something that's, like, it's way easier said than done, I'll put it that way. Can you repair tools? No. So let's put away this extra pickaxe. And then put away the plum wine and the salted fish meat. And then I need to grab I'm going to start by grabbing the simple bag. So a simple bag or a regular bag is how to fertilize and sow seeds. The simple bag is like a lower quality one. So I'm going to grab the simple bag here. And in the simple bag, I can either have fertilizer or seeds. But this is essentially how to tend a farm. So if I hold the simple bag here with right click, I can say field, flaxseed, carrot seed, and here's all the seeds, or alternatively, fertilizer. So the next step of the field here is it's unfertilized, so we're going to fertilize it. And then after we fertilize it, we need to plow it, and then we can sow it. And if you're wondering, this is probably the last time I manually sow a field, unless my farmers are like behind schedule. I do intend to not do this kind of work by hand myself. But the benefit of getting a flax field year one in the spring is huge. It's going to give us a massive leg up on trying to earn money by having flax to make clothing out of, to sell the clothing. Processed goods, of course, are always going to be worth more than raw materials. So copper ore is worth not very much. Copper bars are worth a little bit more. Copper tools are worth a whole lot. And flax-based, one of the best ways to make money, other than like go treasure hunting when you know where all the treasure is making flax clothing or tools. Like sickles, scythes, etc. Is the fertilizer dung? Sometimes. You can make fertilizer in the game out of compost, rotted stuff, or you can make fertilizer out of manure. I don't know what the source of this fertilizer is. It's just fertilizer now. And I've also subsequently unlocked the woodshed for the wood cutting. I've unlocked the barn for threshing and making fertilizer, and the farm shed for hiring farmers. And all of that was just doing the farm myself. So there's a lot of benefit really early game by doing the DIY stuff, because you're going to get access to a lot of the really important fundamental buildings in order to be able to support your growth. If you keep grunting at me, I'm gonna shoot you. So as you can see, my simple bag is nearly torn up from use. But there we go. And I just leveled up in farming. So, farming skill. I'm going to get farming knowledge, more experience gained from farming activities. And then next, hold right click, go to field, go to flaxseed. And before I put the flaxseed in, I need to go get my hoe and plow up the field a bit. Also, I ought to grab the bag, the higher quality bag, because my simple bags are going to fall apart. Now, if you're wondering, I can handcraft simple bags out of leather. So in that case, it might be worth me hunting some of these deer instead, so that I can make a bag rather than use this higher quality bag. So let's do that. Let's, before night falls too much. My archery level sucks, but I'm going to see what I can do about hunting up some deer. So I got it in its head, and I poisoned it, but the arrow didn't stick in. There's a chance when you use a projectile, like an arrow or a spear, that they embed it in the prey, and they, as you chase them, they bleed and take further damage. Ooh, rye. And rye beer. So I'm gonna let this deer, this stag, run about a bit, de-aggro, and then I'll shoot it again. Because it runs faster than me, so chasing it, I'm just gonna wear myself out. Come now. Oh, there it goes. Oh, shot over it. Did I really miss 3 times in a row? Alright, let's go collect those arrows with inspector mode. Because they are higher quality poisoned arrows. And yeah, it doesn't really matter if you poison your prey. Sometimes the arrows will break on impact, but a lot of the times they're collectible. But I kind of launched them, so I don't... Maybe they're beyond where I can find them. I don't see them here. Being in inspector mode is exhausting, at least for now, until I level it up, so... Alright, back to the hunt. I still have a full day to be able to plow and sow, so I'm not really concerned about running out of time for this. So where'd that stag get off to? Alternatively, I can hunt the other deer that's here. Maybe I'll do that. And I'll try to embed my wooden spear in it. Yep, wooden spear's embedded. Oh, here's another poison arrow. So one of the advantages of embedding a wooden spear is I can also use inspector mode to track the spear. Eventually your inspector mode will allow you to track animals too. God, I don't know where these guys are getting off to. They, like, run away so quickly. But I'll find them. One thing that would really help is if I used my poison iron arrows. Iron is the highest tier. It's rather expensive, but it's probably worth it. So that I can bring this hunting game to an end. Is that where my spear went off to? Oh, yeah, there we go. So that's the deer with the spear. And that's probably the stag I was hunting. Stag's dead. Got him in the head with the iron arrow. I'm pretty sure this is the stag I was hunting because an iron arrow is not that strong. It's not going to be able to one-tap a stag. Not at my level with my bow. And there we go. We got 6 leather and 12 meat. And I'm going to hunt the doe. But for the doe, I'm going to use regular copper arrows, not the iron ones. Got in the head again. Oh, is that a different one? That's not the one with the spear in it? Yeah, that's the one. Dead center. I can actually see the spear. You can see it bleeding. And as it runs for me, it's going to bleed out. Ah. Oh, it just... no, not bled out yet. Got it. Right, where'd that other arrow go? Did I break it? This field is going to be full of arrows. There's one of the copper arrows. Oh, that doe's also injured. I think that's the one I shot originally. I might as well hunt all of them for the resources, but there's my spear. And the leather is going to allow me to make wooden bags and the like, which leather bags, which will help to allow my farmers to keep farming. And that one's down too. The other thing that you could do is all of this meat that I don't necessarily need to eat, I can intentionally let rot. And rotten meat can be turned in it. When it turns into rot, you can then turn it into fertilizer. So if I wanted to do that, and let's say I do, all I would need to do is find the meat, drop it on the ground. This 32 meat will turn into rot when spring turns to summer. And that's a really good way to bulk fabricate meat. Or rot, rather. Thank you for tuning in to Medieval Dynasty, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I've asked for no spoilers, so don't spoil it for anyone else in the comments. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you at next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Medieval Dynasty players.